Meeting to order at 5:17. The Bismarck Human Relations Committee is scheduled to meet in regular session on Monday, June 17th at 5:15 in the fourth floor Mayor's Conference Room in Bismarck. Oh, I thought that was the mission I was reading.
It's like, wow, we're
Guys.
really.
This is gonna be a fun meeting, I promise. All right, so we've got roll call taken care of. All right, now what I am supposed to read. The purpose of the Bismarck Human Relations Committee is to create an atmosphere of inclusion, equality, and accessibility through education and outreach to recognize the value of a diverse community. So we will start with public comments.
Sorry.
Hello. You're good. Any comment, or are you just here to observe? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's John Francie.
Welcome.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks.
Right, so we'll do a second call for public comment. And a third and final call for public comment. Hearing nothing for public comment, we'll move on to agenda item number 2. We do need to, we didn't have quorum last month, so we were unable to approve April's minutes as well. I'd like to entertain a motion first to approve April's minutes.
I make a motion to approve April's minutes. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, and now I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from May's meeting. Carl moved, do we have a second? Jason seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, we will move on to agenda item number 3, which is the community conversation. So the committee met, I don't even remember when it was, but it was Sargana and I. And so since we're focusing on accessibility this go round, we came up with a list of panelists. Emails have gone out to, the initial ones that we sent out were to Julie Hornvet, who is the Executive Director of the North Dakota State Council on Developmental Disabilities. I did hear back from her already. She's unable to attend. She has a commitment out of town. We then invited Senator Sean Cleary, as he sits on the Human Services Committee.
It's also on North Dakota Protection Advocacy.
And then Roxanne Romanek, the former Executive Director of Designer Jeans. We emailed Royce Schultze, who's the Executive Director for Dakota Center for Independent Living. We emailed Matt. It was Matt and Sandy. They're both the owners of the Gifted Bean. And then I did reached out to Trevor Burnett, and I did hear back from him. He is confirmed to be there. So far, that's who we've heard from. We're doing some follow-ups.
Who's the backup to Julie? We did backups for her too.
Kristen Dvorak is who.
Kirsten.
Sorry. Yep. So that'll be the next email going out. When I had Whitney send the email, really we focused on those same 3 questions, but instead of diversity, we just changed it to accessibility. That way we're staying kind of with the same theme. And really just focusing on, again, accessibility in the city and what does it mean to you? How have you or the people you serve experienced adversities in Bismarck? And then how have these adversities impacted your sense of belonging to the Bismarck community? So hopefully that's okay with everybody, but I do like that it kind of keeps us flowing how we did. That again, reminder for everyone, is July 24th. From 6 to 8, we do have set up at 5. So
The library again?
at the library, yep, same room. And then my initial game plan is to send out the invite list for attendees. Kind of what I would recommend is we've got the list that we used before, and I think some of them will be crossover, but not necessarily all of them. So if you have any groups or people that you want to get the personal invite, Please send it to Whitney here in the next couple of days. We'll get those invites out. I also have the list that we created for the Department of, or not Department of, but for Gary, the Emergency Service Manager. And there's a number of organizations and point of contacts on there that really fit in this realm. And so I'll email all of those as well. I say it's really Whitney doing it. I don't want to take away her work. Get those.
Is there a specific date you want that invitation to go out?
Too soon.
Yes.
I was gonna- Yeah, well, I was hopefully gonna get you a list, an initial list by Wednesday was my thought process.
Wait.
This week.
Wendy, can you send us again the list of who we had last time, so we're not sending you the same people a bunch of times?
Yep.
If we want to add people, because I don't remember who I put on. there.
I have that list that we created, so I can send it to Whitney. She can send it out.
My thought would be this, is that we just combine all of our lists. And even if they're not relevant to this
Then we still can send
conversation,
it out.
I mean,
Okay.
everybody is interconnected in this community. And whether it's specifically for this conversation or not, they'll get it to other people. It'll get cross-forwarded from business to business, nonprofit, and that gets more exposure.
Okay.
So
Someone putting together, Sassy might have did it last time, the flyer for it.
Oh,
I did the flyer. Oh, you mean the one where we gave out at the event?
Oh, the one that we did
Oh,
on social media,
obviously,
I can text Sassy.
because I think she did that real quick, like on a.
you can take it, format it, just reformat it, and get it out.
Because if she did it on Canva, it'd be real easy just to switch the.
Pretty sure it was, right?
Yeah.
And then, Whitney, does that work if I get you the list by Wednesday? Anything?
Yeah, I'm out of the office on Thursday and Friday this week. So if anything, I could get it out Monday next week.
Perfect. And then,
So do we need to have a discussion on a moderator?
yes, we do need a moderator. Is there anyone here that would like to be a moderator?
I would love to, but I'm out of town.
You are.
Yeah. It's not as scary as it seems in your mind.
The only reason, she had asked me, the only reason I kind of said no was because I work in the field. And if there's any type of disagreements or anything like that, I don't want to feel uncomfortable in that realm, because I work with a lot of these people. I think Sassy would be a good person to do it.
So I'll ask Sassy. If not, I could moderate if we had a co-moderator. I liked having somebody who's not a part of the committee like we did with you.
Yep. My thought on that would be find someone in that community who's active if you want a co-moderator. That was kind of really, in my mind, beneficial having Brianna there.
One person that we didn't ask, and Carl knows her because she's okay with me, we didn't ask because we were gonna ask someone that's an advocate or a person with a disability, was Chaz
Mhm.
from, she's on the art board with us. I think she would do well.
I think so too.
As a co-moderator.
Yeah.
I think co-moderation it's nice. It like takes it out of our hands and combines it with the community. So it's a co-effort.
Yeah.
And I don't have her contact information, but do you?
Yes.
Okay, so Carl, you get that.
Okay.
And with a co-moderator, it's even less scary after the first couple of questions. Not scary, nerve-wracking.
I don't think we need to bring snacks this time because no one took snacks last time.
No, but it's.
Except for Gabby snacks.
Yeah.
Gabby, you can
I
have that
took
everyone.
very little because I had to give a lot of it.
Yeah.
I ate probably.
I think bottles of water are good.
Yeah.
We're.
That's like a weird question, but like on the stage, is there access to the stage? Is there a ramp?
Yes, we asked about that last time and they said they could get one.
Okay.
So I'll make sure to call ahead and let them know we'll meet them. I think two, like you had like the 36 or 48. No snacks.
Do we want an on-site flyer?
Yeah.
Whenever we get,
If you're open.
Oh, yeah, I can do it and we can use the same template, you know, pull it together, we have the bios and stuff.
and then on there, the thing, the scoring thing that we did last time.
Yeah.
Was that on the portal?
It was an insert
Okay,
in it. Although I would just say Whitney was the one that actually like was the champion and made what we had and put it into the right format. So I might just have to lean on her for that.
Okay.
Just from experience, when I was at the booth at Pride, talking about the previous community conversation and how we were having more, people were thrilled.
Yep.
I ran out of flyers for the committee, Human Relations Committee, so that people would have access to how to go to the website, how to find out when we're doing stuff, how to volunteer. So I almost, yeah, I think the more we talk about it, the more I think the community is getting, they couldn't believe we had the turnout we had at the first one, so.
I think I'll connect with Kaylin too. I think it might not hurt us to put up an actual press release out and see if we can't get even speaking with media prior to it happening, since it's our second one and we did have such success with our first one.
Yeah.
I think if we could do that. And he'll know the timing of that and everything, so I think that would be good.
Oh, last thing
Go ahead.
from me. We want Dakota Media Access there to start recording these.
Yeah, we see Justin on
Thursday.
Thursday, so we can ask. Any other things about community conversation? My plan is kind of follow your agenda, Jason, from last one. Just roll with it.
Is there anyone else not able to make it besides Jason?
I'm not sure yet.
Me too. I might be able to.
I think we have when is our July?
It should be before the,
One.
July
Actually,
15th.
Yeah, the 15th, so we'll have a little over a week after the meeting, so.
I'll be there for that and then. hopefully have-
I will be there for the meeting on the 15th, but that won't change my ability to be able to help with it.
Okay. And I don't think there would be any need for the subcommittee to get together. I think everything's pretty much,
We did too, we're good.
yes. Okay.
And if like people, like if we go to the backups and they aren't able to, just get with me and give me their names. And I'm sure Carl could as well.
I think we asked, what, 6? I think because how many did we have last time? 4 or 5? 5, and 5 actually felt really good, so.
Then we asked 6 just in case you want to back up, but then we
Yeah.
backups too.
Yeah,
And so just for other awareness or backups, we have Danica,
Smart Public Schools
Victoria,
from PNA.
and then
Try here, Veronica.
I said the wrong name, it's Veronica.
You
I
say,
do that all the time, I always call her.
I'm on the committee and I don't remember. Sorry.
and then we did put Senator Dick Dever as a backup to Senator Cleary.
Awesome. You can get to.
yeah, you found it.
Yeah.
Are we inviting city commission?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Okay. So we can move on then if there is no further discussion on community conversation.
Did we
tour.
set the date for the November one?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll double check, but I think that sounds right. Oh, I do want to go back. to
it is November 14th. Yep.
Going back, sorry, we do have to figure out how we're going to engage the audience a little bit more this time. Or did we decide we weren't doing that?
Oh, no. I thought we wanted-
Or are we just going to make it so that we can open it up for questions a little bit more? Is that the game plan or?
Maybe after each question.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it went well that way. That was kind of shooting from the hip that night, but I think with a little more forethought that after we
We try to
finish.
break it down to so many minutes we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And if there's extended time at the end, then people can ask more questions or time, more discussion.
Possibly having someone who can take a mic out to the crowd instead of the moderator jumping and running might be helpful.
Yeah,
Yep. But like I said, we were flying by the seat of our pants, so I think we did amazing.
I think maybe framing that at the beginning of, after each one, we're gonna have an opportunity really for a listening session. Cause I think taking away the need for those that are sharing to really always have to respond. Because sometimes people just want to share their lived experience, right? So using this as an opportunity for those that are on stage, but the entire community to really listen in. I feel like maybe just framing that at the beginning will be really helpful, because I almost felt like some of the people that stood up really wanted a response, right? And that's not always appropriate, or it's not, that type of thing, so.
Be a reminder to keep it respectful and that people are, sharing their lived experience.
Yeah.
I think if we put it on if we actually include the agenda in the flyer or as a separate sheet,
Yeah,
that'll be helpful.
agreed.
Now we can for real move on to community events.
You sure?
Well, it's been a month, so who knows? All right, so we'll start with Juneteenth, which is this Wednesday. We're down at General Sibley Park. And it goes from 3 to 9. So Geraldine, do you want to, we were unable to vote on anything regarding this last month. The month prior, I know that there was going to be an ask coming out about sponsorship. We couldn't vote on anything. I did ask for kind of what the money would be used for. And really didn't get clarification on that. So Geraldine, if you could express what the money would be used for. And then also the level of sponsorship, usually we do $250, which I don't think would even.
The cost of the table.
Yep, that would just be the table. So there'd be no recognition or anything like that, which I don't know. I'm not very certain one, but if you want to address anything about it or just where you need volunteers.
So the sponsorship is just to be, whatever you have, we have about 7 different performing arts.
Mm.
Whatever you being honest at this point.
Like, do they get an honorarium where each of them gets the same amount? Is how it works?
Most of them is just like charge, especially like cash dust. So we just put it from different directions.
It could be different ones.
Bringing it together to make up what they charge us. Then for volunteers here, we are setting up at the 11, but if you can't show up, that's fine. The committee can set up a table by 3. Between 3 and 4, we set up by every activity will start at 5. I'm not the mayor, drink at 5, so everything will start at 5. But between 4 and 5, there's like artists. And in the right, there's also a tree. I don't know if that answered all the questions there.
I think so.
So I'm happy to take.
Well, if we have to vote on that. We were unable to vote last time.
And if we don't even have enough volunteers, if we have one, I can't.
And my plans have changed too.
I'll be there, but I'll be at the senior table. If there's a way to have both tables together, then do that, because I'll have other people at my center table.
I thought I could.
Depends on how much sunlight there is that day.
a motion that we sponsor a table at Juneteenth for $250. Is that what we've been doing right for most? Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
All opposed, same sign. So we'll sponsor our 250. Who do we just make the check out to the committee then?
No, not the. No. Money has a information.
It might be in here that I just.
We might.
we can have Whitney maybe coordinate with them.
I'll ask Monty to send.
We have our items.
Yep, I brought them. If you want to grab them, okay. I should be able to come down.
But we have to provide our own table and chairs, right?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'll have to.
Okay, so I have a table that Jason has right now from Capital Pride. If you want to take the table, you can use the table, but I need the table back.
Yeah.
This is my nonprofit
Will
statement.
it fit in my car?
Yes,
Okay.
it's foldable.
Perfect, okay.
You
Yeah,
want to do that?
yeah, that's just
There you go.
that. So you just need to get your chair where you parked. We'll figure this out.
I can come, but I'll come more like 6:30, maybe, I do like the later shift.
Cool.
If people want to do like, I don't know, if people want- it'd probably be fun to have you seen
Yeah.
it. But I
If you
can't
guys
come.
want to send me pictures, whoever's volunteering, so I can do it for the
Yes,
annual report.
we'll need more brochures.
There's
There's some.
a little.
There's some in the box that I gave to Whitney.
You went through all of them in the.
Not all of them, but just I pulled from the total. Yeah, I was talking to everybody. Oh, you live in Bismarck? Great. Your input, so.
If I can be there, it'll be after 6 as well. There's this, I don't know, like, I don't know how my day's gonna go, so.
We found out, Jason said we found out from the vet that the podcast QR code is broken.
On the sheet.
We had a sheet with one, someone trying to scan it in Eleanor.
I can have Kaylin make another one.
Okay,
Here's the information. I'll reserve a spot now for the Juneteenth.
oh, perfect.
Would the check be to the Juneteenth committee or does that go to Global Neighbors?
No, this is something separate. This one, she said goes to,
Molly in the.
She said Molly McLean will email
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
One that.
all right, so anything else on Juneteenth? All right, so I'll move on to Biz Market. Which. Okay, so we're gonna flip this. We're actually gonna talk about World Refugee Day first. Because World Refugee Day is being held at Biz Market, June 22nd. I do not remember who was here at the meeting last month that suggested we maybe skip the July Biz Market and just aim for September if we plan to have a showing at World Refugee Day in June, so that we're not asking so much of our volunteers here.
That makes sense.
So then we've got September 7th, 14th, or 20th, September 7th, 14th, or 21st for an option for Biz Market.
Maybe if they can, like, 2 of those just in case, because I haven't followed up or to see if they, if those dates have changed.
Oh, well, weekend is the 7th, I think.
Yeah.
Do we know, we've got volunteers for the June 22nd? We know for sure we're doing that, right?
June 28th.
There's some snacks this weekend.
I just wanted to make sure.
So
I'm going to be there, but I'll have a table. So, nobody's taking me to things. It's like your
My intent is to be there, but it's also my 20-year high school reunion and I'm kind of torn if I'm gonna drive up to Minot for the 6 o'clock thing that night. I don't know if I'll be able, I've seen someplace that it goes till 1 and I've seen someplace that it goes till 3, so let me double check later.
I thought you meant last week.
No, World Refugee Day. Okay, so World Refugee Day goes, okay, so it goes till 1. The problem is I don't know if I can be there right at 10 to set up, because we've got.
I can set up.
I don't even-
Honestly.
I can't do it because I didn't know what I've done today.
I just don't, I don't know if we were really, were we gonna actually have a booth there or are we just going to be there in support of?
I think we should just be there and support.
I think so too.
Are they doing good stuff?
That's what, I can't remember if they're doing booths or not.
Yeah, yeah, it's a-
Yeah, because it says you can register as a vendor as a part of it. So I feel like they would have no, but I don't know if that goes through Global Neighbors or if that goes through Bismarck. So I think if we could just be there in support. But then if, would we want to do Bismarck in July then? Are you guys okay just waiting until September for that?
If we could.
Okay,
This is a very hectic month.
so then to answer your question about September, does anyone have any days that just absolutely no go?
The 14th.
I can't do the 14th.
I can do this.
I can't do
I'm
the
going to
7th.
be,
Okay, what about the 21st?
So okay, so
Yeah.
the 21st is our first and then,
Whatever we can
Yeah.
get, otherwise.
sounds good.
I can just send her around when we verify it. This is one in advance. I'll do a sign up genius again. We did for Pride.
And then also on the World Refugee Day conversation. So as you guys know, at the end of last year, we donated $250 to roughly $250 to Global Neighbors, their gala that was supposed to take place in April. They decided for a number of reasons that the gala was not their best option. Just for the organization this year, it just didn't quite fit or make sense. And so I spoke with Leah and she has offered to send the money back since it did not go to the gala like it was intended to. Or they would hope to use it for as towards the sponsorship towards World Refugee Day. And how that would kind of look since Bismarck is really facilitating everything and Global Neighbors isn't having to spend a lot of money. Their intent was to purchase food vouchers for some of the participants because they didn't want the cost of food to be a barrier for people coming to World Refugee Day that are a part of Global Neighbors. So that's most likely what the funds would be used for. It can be used to purchase other items, strictly food at Bismarck. So then it's going back to the community and local people as well. So any discussion on that, if we would rather money come back to us, if it's used towards what they deem it need to be used for World Refugee Day.
I think it would be great for us to just allow them to use it as a sponsorship as they deem fit. And I don't think we should necessarily dictate it.
However, they would share for Global Neighbors.
Yeah, I think it'd be best because if we get specific, then they may only be able to, or if they change their
Oh,
mind.
yeah.
Let's just allow it to roll over
Okay.
to be used as a sponsorship for World Refugee Day.
Any concerns with that? So we will need to vote on that, so I would entertain a motion. Or,
Oh, I move that we allow them to roll the money over into a World Refugee.
okay,
And I'll second that.
all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Just really quick, can we, as we're doing this, just ask for accounting after events? You know what I mean? like a fiscal accounting
yeah.
from the groups that we.
Basically, they just need to do some type of spreadsheet or document that states how they used it.
Yeah,
Okay.
We want to know where this.
yeah.
You
just
shouldn't be
because we-
surprised, I have to do it all the time.
Right, and we started doing it with the Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Jr. Holiday Celebration Committee.
So you should be doing it with
Yeah,
everyone.
and so let's just continue that, just for fiscal responsibility to the citizens.
Is it a benefit to the annual report as well to also just get numbers of like how many attendees and things like that?
Who that would be.
Yeah, like I think, I mean, obviously the community conversations would be good numbers, but I feel like if we're sponsoring events, like having, you know, the event was attended by approximately this number of residents.
We could ask for just rough guesstimates.
Yes.
Do you, one of the organizations I volunteer with, they have a clicker, and so
Yeah.
it's like for presentations, but even at Pride, we were next to their booth. And
Yeah.
I saw them with a clicker, and you're supposed to click every time. So
We should have done that.
Like,
Tell
just
people
click.
at our table,
Yeah.
damn it.
We can.
I have
start doing
clickers
that.
next time.
It works until it doesn't work, until you get too distracted and forget. So when you do that ask, then do you typically do it as a follow-up after, or do you kind of, when you send the money, say, we
You
would
send the
like
money.
this?
Do we do when you send them, like,
And then do a follow-up, thanking them for, allowing us to be there. And just a reminder, when you get a moment.
Yeah.
we-
use data? Or as much of it as you can give us.
Which leads me to a really quick conversation. Do we as a committee want to start sending out thank you cards after events for them allowing us to participate? Engage.
Mhm.
Okay.
But, yeah, because what does it cost? The cost of a stamp or just an email, or what are you thinking?
I'm old school.
I think,
People
Cost
like
of
to
a
get
stamp.
mail as long as it's not political.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how expensive just like a postcard with our, even just a blank postcard with our logo on it, because
Why
then.
don't you just do a blank postcard and put up stickers? We have so many stickers.
Oh, yeah. Postcards with just our.
As long as you're not mailing it to the prison, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
They don't like stickers on their envelope.
Good to know.
Well, FYI.
Knowledge.
Oh, that's too bad.
So that would be kind of a nice thing to do now.
Comes my name.
We have cards.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can put your sticker on the inside.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's awesome. So we'll figure that into budget mailing cost. Oh, okay.
Just fill them out, push them out with our mail.
Okay, thank you.
It's not
We'll
like
do them at the meetings.
Yeah.
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 we're not sending 125,000 of them. so-
Nope.
So it should be one for Pride.
Yep.
Right, and we already talked about this market, correct? You guys can follow up. Okay. Do we have anything else for community events that are not on the agenda? Because your chair may or may not have not fully responding towards when this draft came out, so
She didn't even know what month it was.
I did not, I thought we were in July, so I think we're good until for a while, right,
Yeah.
with our events,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We've actually exceeded already our quota for what we had hoped for, so we're already ahead of the game with engaging the community. So I think we're off to an awesome start halfway through the year.
Okay, we'll move on to communications and marketing. I think that's probably just because I forgot to tell her to take it off.
All right,
But
it's something that could be there and we don't have to. cover
We could
it.
probably do that, leave that on there every time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to though, I'll connect with Kaylin and just see if we can't get a press release out, in advance to see if we can't get maybe on one of the news stations or something to talk about the community conversation forum prior, and then we'll send out a media alert.
I can do a star search on Twitter today if that's the one we want.
Yeah, so something like that. If we can connect with a journalist or a reporter, then maybe sometimes they'll respond and they'll say, hey, we want the interview today. Then,
Why not? You don't think you're photogenic?
No,
No,
it's just an idea.
There's
Gonna set-
there's a lot more news organizations that are starting up online.
Oh.
And so I know that some of them they're doing more state politics, but they may do more community-based stuff coming up here, so.
And just a heads up, the new podcast episode released today, it's Mayor Mike Schmitz.
Nice.
So if you guys want to listen, so it can be history hot dish.
We still are, by the way.
It's 1-1 since we started keeping score.
We were talking to someone about it, our competitiveness. Oh, it was
Justin.
Justin. And he's like, you just need to bake a hot dish.
Take
And
pictures of yourselves eating it.
Hey, I'd be more than happy to make a hot dish.
Good, I cannot make hot dish.
Oh, no, I can do it all day long.
Hey, Whitney, do we have a link to join on Teams? Sassy
this?
just, yeah, for this.
I will send one to her. I'll add her.
Oh, Sassy's on that special number.
She's been nominated.
Since we're in communications, Melanie, someone for your podcast, Melanie Angel,
Yeah,
she moved back to Bismarck.
Yeah.
And
So
so,
you since you're Melanie.
yeah,
yeah.
I love her so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I promised Sassy we're gonna get her in.
Sassy, by the way, is like the biggest cheerleader for our podcast
Yes.
that I've ever met.
Yeah, she's gonna be on our podcast.
Yeah.
Take it in August. Because somebody's bought, no, I'm just kidding. We just need to buy this weekend, actually.
Don't tell me that.
Oh, no, I need to buy it tomorrow.
What's the September episode?
We haven't even set up September yet.
Interviews, yeah, but the ones that we record prior to it will be airing.
Coming out September is Amy Cleary, Gabby, Don Kopp,
Brandy Schmidt, and then we have
Haley
Haley.
Striggy.
September's FEST awareness.
Yeah, because unfortunately, if we record you in September, it's not gonna air until,
December or January,
Although it would probably be October.
yeah, 'cause we're,
maybe next year.
but we will definitely add you.
Statistics and figures.
While we're down I was gonna save it for other business, but we might as well keep talking podcast. Our numbers are doing really well. We're having some issues right now, not issues, some
Scheduling,
issues
that will work out.
with Dakota Media Access. Our last recording with the mayor, luckily it was the mayor of Mandan before us, so that, but they were 30 minutes behind, so then we were 30 minutes behind in everything, and there's not much you can do. So they've asked us to change our time slots. So we're trying to navigate that and figure it out. Yeah, other than that, with the podcast, I think it's going pretty well.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna ask it, so I'm gonna ask it. Tia spends her own money on the editing equipment to edit our podcast, which takes her a long time, mind you, but she's spending her own money on editing equipment. So I'm just wondering if we as a committee purchase that, because it's a monthly thing, is that what it is?
So I purchased Adobe Creative Cloud, which cost me on average $56 a month. However, even without Audition, which is what we need, I would probably be spending about $25 a month on my own because I use the photo stuff. I had to upgrade it to get the Audition. There are free podcast editing softwares out there. However,
Learning.
the learning curve is not, for me, I'm very familiar with all of Adobe's. That's why I went with Audition. A year subscription, Audition does cost, I think it was like $230. Very awkward for me searching on.
Your mathing is off. If you're saying it's 56 a month for.
No, she upgraded from her $25 a month, so she's.
Yeah,
paying
because
about
I
$25
was-
a month.
I was paying Adobe, like for Photoshop, Lightroom, and Premiere. That's one cost. Then you just upgrade it.
How long do you have the cost?
since we started the pod. Well,
So a
since we
year?
started editing.
You're,
So, but like addition, just for an example, addition cost for a year. It's cheaper if you do a year, but monthly is, I think, $22.99 a month for addition. $22.99. That's if you commit to a year, otherwise it's 35 month to month. Or a prepaid is $263. It gets iffy because it is cheaper to combine it with my own Photoshop, everything that I use, which would be I should have come prepared with this.
No, you weren't expecting to put on the holiday. Thank you.
just do, if we're gonna do it, while you look it up, you just do a motion up to the 263, which is the most of the cost, because that's a year, prepaid is 263.
Here is my thought on this. Though I like that idea, since we have somebody here, how do other podcasts edit their stuff since Dakota Media doesn't edit?
The only two that I can, well, the three that I can speak to with experience between City Current, Bismarck Insights, and History Hot Dish. The amount of editing for all three of those programs is this much, is zero. There's no editing whatsoever on any of them. They're designed that way to lessen the burden on DMA staff. And we're in and out the door. The mayor recorded 2 episodes of Bismarck Insights on Friday, and we were done in under an hour and a half.
And like for an example, editing the mayor's one. Even though we had asked multiple times, the audio was goofy again. It was very low. So to try to balance, I mean, it took me about almost 90 minutes to edit the podcast today, just alone with.
She has to edit it every single time, like our sounds won't get right, and then we have people, like if we don't answer a question, we have to edit it. Or like if they don't answer it correctly and they want it redone, or if we mess up, we have to, there's not been an episode that she has not had to edit.
I only brought it up just to see if there would be, benefit to trying to get an all around like city purchased editing.
And I mean, another option is I could downgrade my Adobe and I could try Audacity, which is free for my understanding, but it's.
Justin says no to that.
So here's my other thought. This is a rotating committee. So whatever we do should be done for the committee, which means we would need to just outright purchase an Adobe, whatever it is, Creative Cloud, utilizing for the city, if we're able to do it, however that would look, because we wouldn't want you to have control of it. It would be something that would be paid for by us or whoever, however, but it would be utilized, it would be owned by the city. You know what I mean? Because the moment you step away, the podcast needs to keep going.
Right.
So if there comes a day that the two of you are no longer on the, on this committee, that's this committee's podcast and it needs to keep going. You know what I mean? Not saying you would ever,
No,
but
I
that's the
understand.
reality
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
That you would just be able to access,
So we would just need them to sign up for an artisan account, everything like that.
So I think what would be best is to figure out that cost and get that going so that you can utilize it and stop using
And then we
it.
just come to the next meeting, the cost.
What it costs, and then it's down.
And we could ask city administration to see how we navigate this if we can,
Frankly, I'm seeing roadblocks.
all over the place. Okay.
All the way around.
Purchasing software for non-city staff and being on and off the network is gonna be a huge problem for our IT people.
Okay, and that was kind of my thought.
We can sure ask. I don't wanna say no because we need to hear it from them, but just knowing
We have to get numbers anyways.
they are so interested in security right now. Anything that's gonna break from our protocols is gonna be a non-starter.
Can I ask a question? So when you record, do they like give you like the raw? I've never done. So I've never really done.
No questions, your question.
But do they give you like the raw material? How do you get like to edit it yourself?
So what happens is we go in there, we'll sit down with the guest, we start, like you have to begin, you do sound check, all of that stuff. And then hopefully, if everything goes right, like with Mayor Schmitz's, there was no splicing and dicing, no starting over. Which sometimes there is, you have to cut a chunk of, you get a raw file. And then if you're lucky, all you have to cut off is beginning. We're kind of figuring out audio and then very end. And then you add the intro, the outro, and you have to match the sound for everything. And there's a bunch of technical stuff in there with like hard limiter and things like that. Sometimes it takes us the time to record. But then with the editing, it can take anywhere from 5 minutes of actual work, but still having to listen to the full podcast again because you want to make sure it doesn't sound like crap. And then, but like I said, our last one that we recorded, there was something off with the audio because lately we're finding too, we don't really have solid assistants in there to help us. And then like the program looked completely different this time than what we were used to. And even though we asked 3 people, they said it was the same. And then editing, I can tell you it wasn't because I'm not. But so then you just slice and dice and put it all together. Sometimes you're cutting. I think the most we've had to cut and paste is like 6, but then you have to listen to the entire audio again and get it to match up. So it's not always a lot of work. Like the cutting and putting together isn't the worst part. It's when our audio is off, or like for some reason the one before Mayor Schmidt's, my mic, just you could barely hear me. So then it's trying to get me loud enough without overpowering the guest and Sargiana's audio and everything like that.
Jason, do you have like any pre-recorded shows or just as that? Like every show just go live?
So none of them are live. They're all pre-recorded. And what we do for Bismarck Insights and History Hot Dish particularly, we create what we call conversation starters, which is effectively the outline or the topics you're going to cover. And we ask generally we as staff will get together first, we send them to the guest, and then we say, read things over. Are these topics you want to cover? Do you know the answers to these questions? That sort of thing. So it essentially scripts the conversation. It's never meant to be the script. You don't read the question as it's written, but it gives both the guest and the host the opportunity to know what's coming ahead of time. So there shouldn't be a ton of surprises. Now, obviously, there are times where the guest will say something and the host will ask a follow-up question. So it's still very casual. But the guest walking in, I understand it's generally their first time ever doing something like this. We've had really good luck making sure they know what's coming before they just show up in the room.
And we do that as well. Do you guys though, like when you're done recording the 3 that you're familiar with, do you actually have to take the file home and put it in an MP3 or a WAV format? So then that's, I think the difference is that we actually have to take it home and provide. I then have to upload an MP3 format to Spreaker, which puts it on all the platforms. And then I have to upload a WAV format to Dakota Media Access for them to air on the radio.
What do you mean you access that? Most podcasts do that because they're spending so much time on all the podcasts. So we've pretty much always done that.
It's a lot of work.
And
He likes doing it.
I do.
It's just the cost I was trying to.
So I'll look up the difference in prices and we can bring it up again next meeting then. But did he make a motion? Or did he just say something?
I said it on.
Just say,
Okay, so we can.
We can dig into it too with our IT folks and just see if they have recommendations or suggestions. And if you're gonna see Justin on Thursday, maybe it's worth just saying, what is everyone else doing? I've noticed some new programs available, so maybe there's some different ideas too. I don't know. On their podcast list, I've seen a few new titles showing up recently.
Okay, anything else with the podcast?
Listen to it, so you read history, not to please.
Yes. Okay. With the DEI emergency services update, just for those of you who weren't here last meeting, I met with Gary Stockert again prior to it, and we just really finished the list, made some corrections so that we didn't really typically have individual people as point of contacts, or rather an executive leader or something like that, so that if there's turnover, they still have someone to contact. There's no questions on that. We can move on to other business, and I'll just open the floor for any.
Sassy's on.
Oh, hey, Sassy. Is she on?
She's on.
Fantasy.
Oh, I added her a couple times and it wouldn't connect, and then she hasn't tried to call in.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
never mind.
So any other business from anyone at the table? Going to add my other business, which is to reiterate again, please listen to the podcast, please make sure you're sharing it.
Yeah,
Not
it-
because we're competitive at all, but because,
Foster some savings.
because it's genuinely pretty good content.
Renee's was good. I mean, all of them were good. So a lot of it, good information.
So on any social media, Kalen's posting Facebook, I think probably Twitter or X, Instagram, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really a great one if you're on there because it is all professional content on the podcast. So it's really a good one to share. And then you can tag the guest or the organization as well. It also helps spread the reach even more. That's all I have for.
Is this a random question because I wasn't here at the last meeting? That's what I was gonna ask. Who's in the room?
Yes.
My name's Doug. I'm the new assistant city administrator.
You got a new case.
Jason's leaving us. I thought you said you wouldn't leave us.
No, I didn't. I answered it a little more coy than that. Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
We'll
what
have to
told
make
me
some
when
decisions.
I asked him about it too, is it wouldn't be an immediate thing.
Yeah, and I'm not still in the building, obviously. We'll still have Whitney, which is really the first. Anyway.
When did the new city commissioners take?
So the state law changed at the last legislative session. Normally, we would see new commissioners at the second meeting in June. That is not the case now. State law requires new commissioners to be take their seat, they take their position July 1st. We will see one new face at the table at our first meeting in July, which I believe is the 9th. But we will actually be having an organizational meeting with the brand new commissioner and the other commission members on July 1st. And that will be more of a procedural, kind of a City of Bismarck 101, here's code of conduct, here's just a high level run through of every department. And just kind of a 90-minute, everybody get together and give the new person an opportunity to kind of drink from the fire hose, but then remind everybody else at the table, here's the things we told you when you were new to the table too.
Okay, do it other business.
I do too.
You might turn into your own.
Okay, I have a quick question on that really quick. Would it be dumb, since it's only one new one, for us to just go to a meeting and introduce ourselves? Would that be silly and would say time? Okay.
Yeah.
Just send an invite. Okay.
When are we gonna start taking applications for the humanitarian?
I believe I had it in my notes that we were gonna bring it up in July or August and start calling for applications with the idea of issuing it sometime in November or something like that.
October,
Okay.
November.
Call for them in August, accept them in September, identify it in October and do the award then. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
A couple people nodding heads.
Just wondering how budget negotiations are going at the city level.
We are
With the-
continuing to progress, working through all the departments. No final decisions have been made. We were we were waiting for the election results to know where we're at. Portfolio assignments will be at that first meeting in July, the July 1st meeting, the organizational meeting. So then we'll know who the mayor assigns as the portfolio holders for all the departments. And then more importantly, for finance and budget, we'll know who we're working with. At this point, we've gone through every department, committee, advisory board, and just seen all my asks. You know, the big round number, and now we gotta work backwards from there to get to a spot where we're balanced and we're not raising property taxes. If we said yes to everything, we would be increasing taxes, so we can't say yes to everything, so we gotta figure out what are the priorities, what are the needs.
I mean, I do like taking care of my fellow citizens.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
And the HRC's request was discussed, was that last week? We kicked that one around, so it's in the hopper with everything else.
Remind me what the request was again.
Increase the budget from 3,500 this year to 5,000. Which would be essentially a doubling of what it was when many of you started at the table here.
I think we've done a little better events. People are
Yeah,
shocked that we were around for 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
I mentioned that, they're like, you've been around for that long. Yep.
Well, the nice thing also was this was the first event that people were like, oh, it's Sue again.
Yeah.
Compared to always going, who are you? What do you guys do? And us explaining, oh, it's been 20 years we've been doing this. There were at least a handful of people who were like, oh, it's really good to see you again. Or one even was at the forum.
Yep, we had one that
Yeah.
was at the farm too.
Yeah. So we're starting to get into
There we
the
go, we're
community.
getting out there. Woo!
Yep.
I think we've had someone from the public at least for the last couple of meetings
Yep.
too. Which is nice.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Any other business? Okay, I do not need to ask for a motion, so we will adjourn at
You know, maybe.
8:00.
Thank you.
Go to the restroom before I go out with these.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The table.
I need to get some.
This, yeah, we need to restock this.